It's an ET Now exclusive, and this is one special investigation into the market volatility over past few months, which has been led amongst other sectors by PSU bank stocks, which have been hammered across the board despite government's reform agenda. ET Now's investigation reveals that market regulator SEBI has stepped in to get to the root of the matter and suspect a bear cartel at work. Bear cartel in a bull market, that's interesting. Avan. Vijay Ganeshan Iyer joins us now with more exclusive details. Vijay, first help us understand the data here. What's the total loss to the government and the investors due to the fall in PSU bank stocks, and why does the regulator suspect a bear cartel at work?
Siddharth, as you're rightly pointing out, we need to look at this story in two aspects. One, let's go by the data, and I need to say it very vehemently and clearly that we are just putting out the data and done the analysis which were always there in public domain, the data that is revealed by the stock exchanges at the end of the day. If you see, say, between October and February 2nd, that is the period primarily where a government of India gave its big push and started announcing reforms when it comes to the PSU banking sector as a whole, and that is where the whole idea of recapitalization was announced, so on so forth. So clearly, if you see on the fundamentals, government did all the right things. They have gone to the extent of releasing big time money to the extent of 88,000 crores for recapitalization of PSU banks. But when you see that particular effect on a bull market which we have been witnessing, say, till of lately February 2nd, between October and February 2nd, the PSU bank stocks have got hammered. So clearly the moot question was, when everyone expected the worst for PSU stocks to be over, government committing close to 1 lakh crore for PSU stocks, what was that was driving down the PSU stocks? So purely if you go by the data, on one hand, when there was a bull market and the kind of announcement that government was making, it close to 43,000 crores worth market capitalization of PSU stocks got eroded, and clearly that is a loss to the government. And also, if you add another close to 24,000 crores to the public which hold shares in PSU banks, clearly close to 67,000 crores MCAP got eroded in this bull market of PSU stocks. That is where alarm bells were raised, and government also was worried. On one hand, they are pumping in close to 1 lakh crore. On the other hand, market capitalization close to 67,000 crores worth were getting eroded, and that is where market regulator SEBI is now looking at this whole aspect, going into the data. What was the cartel which was working? Because there are indications that if you go by the data, on the opening, average volumes in PSU stocks used to be somewhere between 5 to say 12 crores. On January 25th, this average stood at 260 crores. So clearly there's a lot of issues that needs to be dealt, and the data needs to be analyzed and see who are the people who are buying or who are the people who are selling. So that is what this data throws up, and we have indeed got the confirmation that market regulator SEBI is indeed looking into this whole aspects, as North Block is also worried with the kind of erosion that has happened in the market capitalization of PSU banks. But looking at the fundamentals, clearly this was not anticipated, and that is where this cartel will be now probed by market regulator SEBI to try and understand who are the players who were involved in buying and selling, and perhaps hammering, if that was the case, going by the data.
All right, and Vijay, tell us, has the regulator trained its guns on any particular set of investors behind the PSU bank crash?
Avan, that would a very important question, but it would be difficult to say the exact say cartel or the individuals that market regulator SEBI is looking at. But going by the data, clearly market regulator SEBI is more focused and analyzing the data of the domestic institutional investors, because FPI are not playing big time in PSU stocks. Clearly DII are under the SEBI radar, and clearly market regulator SEBI will go into all the data and clearly see who are the DIIs who are buying and selling, and was there any involvement of any particular big DII or fund houses when it comes to hammering the PSU stocks, particularly in the last 2 to 3 months.
Well, thanks Vijay for joining us and sharing those details. Avan, that's very important, but if you remember, one day there was a huge spike of 40, 50, 60% in PSU banks, and that was the announcement. But after that, Host of investors have come to our channel and spoken about that more needs to be done when it comes to PSU Bank, and numbers after that were also not very exciting. I don't know whether there would be a very strong case of here a bear cartel over here, but certainly on face of it, it seems to be selling on rise happening in market. But who knows better than Vijay that what exactly is happening over there, and SEBI would soon come out of this and point out whether there was any bear cartel. I doubt whether this would have any meaningful outcome, but certainly sometimes it's more than what meets the eye.